Hello, so tonight I will be going over the Wells Fargo account fraud scandal and its deep impact on not only its employees and customers, but on our country as a whole. To begin, here's a quick background. Wells Fargo was established in 1852 by Henry Wells and William Fargo in San Francisco, California. Their brand became synonymous with the stagecoach, which they used to rush customers' important business, as the website states, when the railroad tracks would end. Recently, however, the Wells Fargo stagecoach has found itself in a deep ditch and has struggled to pull itself out ever since. These were some of the headlines when the news broke in 2016, which you can see shows that Wells Fargo was responsible for creating over 2 million fake accounts, which was ultimately done to impress shareholders and increase their stock price. But the 5,300 bad apples, as the one headline reads, I would argue are not all bad apples, but regular hardworking employees who fell victim to a toxic sales culture, which was driven by cross-selling. Cross-selling was a marketing tactic which had not been very popular in the baking world until competitors saw the success Wells Fargo was having. The tactic consisted of roping customers into having multiple Wells Fargo products which they did not always ask for or need. For instance, if a customer came in asking to open a checking account, the sales rep would also insist they need to open a savings account as well. By doing this, Wells Fargo was able to obtain even more information about the customer and almost guarantee their lifelong business. Historically, Wells Fargo has always put off an image of trustworthiness. The stagecoach, for example, has been used symbolically for generations to show its humble and honest beginnings, as well as to set themselves apart from the big, greedy New York banks. This is reflected in the graphic on the left, as it shows the confidence that the public has historically placed in Wells Fargo. Another important perspective to take into account that helps better highlight the degree to which the company was willing to take this scandal and the devastation it caused the employees would be from the perspective of the branches in St. Helena, California. A Netflix documentary titled Dirty Money brings to light how the workers here felt such a strong pressure to meet sales goals that work became extremely toxic and harsh. One worker, for example, recalls that the pressure was so great she often had to call her sister and plead to open another account on her behalf just to reach her quota. She also points out how the St. Helena branch manager never required an interpreter for those who spoke little English when they would come into the branch. And as the documentary notes, St. Helena had a large non-English speaking population that worked at the nearby vineyards, which made this tactic very successful. So also contributing to the scandal was the leadership crisis that took place. John Stumpf became CEO of Wells Fargo in 2007 and held the position till the news of the scandal broke. Previously, Stumpf had a very strong reputation as a leader, but his true colors came through during a congressional hearing when Stumpf said, I only care about outcomes, not processes. This type of leadership can create a toxic culture where employees felt they had to go to extremes to get things done. Also at fault in a leadership position were the branch managers, as they encouraged the forceful selling behaviors in order to reach quotas so they could get more bonuses. They used coercive action to achieve these goals, such as threatening to fire people at a moment's notice if they didn't hit their daily quotas. The scandal finally came to light when the whistleblowers who were considered the bad apples by Stumpf began receiving compensation for the retaliation they experienced for reporting the fraud. Retaliation is a direct violation of the Sarbanes-Oxley 2002 Act, specifically Section 806, which protects whistleblower complaints. As the 2015 investigation prompted by the Los Angeles City Attorney found that the bank had fired over 1,500 employees who were found responsible for creating the 200 accounts. Another independent investigation ran by Wells Fargo found that the number of fake accounts was actually 3.5 million, and more instances of fraud occurred, such as auto loan insurance fraud and mortgage product violations. So since the scandal broke, Wells Fargo has made many attempts at gaining back the public's trust, such as rebranding commercials and cleaning house. In the commercials, they own up to their failure by admitting how they had built up trust for generations and then lost it all. They then go on to say how they plan on earning it back and how they are planning on doing so. They end the commercial cleverly by saying, established in 1852 and reestablished in 2018. The company also hired a new CEO named Charlie Scharf in 2019, who has since been tasked to reshape the company's culture and pull the stagecoach out of the ditch. One way he did this was through cleaning house and bringing in all new senior management, including a new CFO and COO. He has also instituted a flatter organization structure, which will help provide leaders with clear authority and responsibility. This will also help minimize the risk of fraudulent acts becoming lost in communication on the way up the corporate ladder. So as future Christian leaders, we should view this scandal as a cautionary tale to not letting greed and success overcome doing the right thing and caring about the process. Paul felt the same pressure as he writes in Romans 7:15, "For I do not understand my own actions, for I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate." This constant struggle we face as being human beings can only be fought by renewing our minds daily, as Romans 12:2 says, so that when we are tested, we may discern what is the will of God and do what is good and acceptable and perfect. Thank you.